Hey everybody, it's Jim. I'm back with another Weekend Grabs and Reviews video. I'd like to show you a few of the things that I picked up over the last few weekends. Some of them are actually store buys and some of them are actually some Amazon purchases. But full of 80s cheesy movies. So let's go ahead and get started and see what we got here. First up is Nightmare. It's an oldie but a goodie. It's a 1981. This was released through Code Red. Back in the early 80s, it was just all about having some kind of psycho killer walking around killing people, and that's pretty much all this one is. There's not a whole lot of storyline to it. I'm glad to add it to my collection, that's for sure. It's just about a guy that he escapes from an insane asylum and comes to do horrible things to some people after some time he thought that he was cured, but evidently not, and it just kind of documents him coming back and doing the things that he had done before. So nothing major. A good addition to any horror collection, though. Next up, we've got the Willies. Actually, I didn't even know I'd seen this before. I threw it in, and as soon as it started playing, I was like, "Oh yeah!" So I remember this. So this is really like an anthology show. So it has multiple stories included, and it's just these three boys. It starts out that they're in the backyard camping out. One of the boys is Sean Astin. You know him from the Lord of the Ring movies, Rudy, and all that kind of stuff. And that guy never ages. How does that happen? He looks the same in this as he does in anything he's doing recently. So it's really kind of creepy. But anyway, they're telling all these stories and stuff, trying to scare each other. And it's just an anthology, some campfire stories, and then the ending is pretty much what you see here on the cover. It's just some good cheese. Great 80s stuff. Next up, I have Trick or Treats. This is another Code Red in 1982. This is about a guy that his wife convinces everybody that he's crazy and he gets put away. And so as soon as he gets put in the nut house, she takes up with David Carradine, you know, Kung Fu. And so she's there with her son, and David Carradine are getting ready to go out to a party. So they have a babysitter come over. And this kid is nothing but a brat. He's a half-assed magician, and he's always tricking the babysitter, making her think something horrible's happened, and it's just a trick or a illusion or something like that. And all the whole time this is going on, the dad has gotten out of the insane asylum, and he's coming home to get even with his wife. So it's just about him making phone calls to the house, the babysitter not knowing if it's the kid causing trouble, or if it's really something that's going on. The kid cries wolf so many times, you know, where he's trying to trick her that she really doesn't believe him anymore. So it comes down to the good old 80s ending where, you know, it all boils to a head, and the dad of the little boy shows up, and the babysitter has to deal with him and the little boy. So pretty good 80s stuff there for you. Next up was the Boogens. This is another one that I had forgotten that I had seen. So I ordered this off of Amazon because, you know, you click on one thing and you see a movie that you want, and then it says you might also be interested in. Well, yeah, I'm interested in those. So I just I bought this one as well. This is about a silver mine in Colorado that there was a big cave-in years and years and years ago. And so there's some guys that decided they were going to blow this mine back open and go in and investigate. And when they did, they kind of released the Boogens, which kind of looks like maybe a big turtle or something with tentacles on it. I don't know. Not really horrifying, but really good practical effects for the day. I really miss those days where everything wasn't so CGI. Even though it looked bad, it was still very much an entertaining movie. So it's just about the Boogens coming to get everybody that's in the town, and how there's little mine shafts underneath people's homes and things like that. Like I said, it's another 80s cheese that's really good. Actually, this was probably my favorite one. Next up, I don't know how to describe this. The Munchies. I vaguely remember seeing this too after it started playing. This stars Harvey Korman. He plays two roles. He plays brothers in this. One's a guy that's trying to always do right, and the other's a conniver that's always trying to get over on everybody else. So it's basically about the good Harvey Korman finding some alien race, and he takes this little guy back to his house, and they're trying to keep him undercover so nobody finds out that he's there. And the evil Harvey Korman brother, he actually gets him, and things happen, and So it kind of turns into a Gremlins movie from that point. So you cut this thing in half, and another one, two of them show up, and you cut that in half, and another one shows up. So they just kind of keep multiplying. This is a 1987, like I said, and I think Gremlins was like a 1985. So you can tell this was like a direct ripoff of Gremlins when you get into it, and the way they talk and things. It was like I said, it's full of cheesiness. It was fun to watch. So I don't know if many of you watched any of the 80s horror movies. But if you go back and watch them now, they're nothing like today's horror movies, but they sure are entertaining. Next up is a great movie starring C. Thomas Howell called Soul Man. And if you've never seen this one is like from the mid-80s, 1985, 1986. And it's about a guy that's trying to get into college. His dad said he's not going to pay for it, so he's got to try to find a scam to get into college because he can't afford it himself. So he actually takes a pill that makes his skin dark. It was like supposed to be for a tanning thing, so he overdoses himself. His skin gets really dark. He wears a wig, and he applies for a minority scholarship, and he actually gets it. So there are a lot of things in this movie that there's no way anything like this could ever be made today, with all the politically correctness stuff that's going on. But it's a darn good movie. It also stars Radon Chong, and it's kind of his love interest, and he finds out that since he got this scholarship by pretending he was black, Radon Chong has to work her butt off to actually pay her way through college. So a lot of the things that are said in this, and a lot of the things that he's done, including the blackface, basically, would never get done today. But it's a really cool movie. I remember seeing this a couple of times back in HBO's early days. This was on heavy rotation, and I saw this and I just had to pick it up. Next up are some recent buys. A Christmas Horror Story. And as you can see there, it's Santa flying or fighting Krampus right on the cover. A couple of odd things about this one. If you go to buy this at Walmart right now, it actually says a holiday horror story. I'm not sure why it says that. They've taken the word Christmas off of the packaging. I don't know if they just thought that putting Christmas on there, having Santa fighting this monster was going to upset children or what. So they actually called it Holiday Horror Story. So more upsetting than the cover was how bad the movie actually is. That's another anthology. There are multiple stories. I think there's 3 stories going on during this movie that kind of intertwine. It's kind of narrated by William Shatner. He plays a DJ in the town, and he kind of talks through some things on the radio as the stories progress. Not a very good movie. The one with Santa Claus and Krampus probably makes the most sense of all of them. There's a couple of other ones in there that were just okay. I wouldn't recommend buying this one. If it makes it to Netflix this December, so you get a chance to check it out, you might just check it out just for, just for fun, but not really a great movie. Next is the movie Cooties, which I just watched last night. It stars Elijah Woods and Rainn Wilson, and it's just pretty much about a school that they feed the children the chicken nuggets for lunch, and this one girl starts getting infected, and so she scratches another kid, and he gets infected, and they go on and start scratching other kids, and they get infected, kind of turn them into zombies. And so what it all boils down to is if you haven't reached puberty yet, you can be infected by this virus. And so the whole world gets overrun by young kids that are basically zombies trying to attack the adults. Now, you can't get infected as an adult, but they will rip your guts out and eat your face. So you got to be careful. A really good movie. I enjoyed this right up to the end. And damn you, Cooties, you got me. It ends horribly, and there's definitely going to be a part 2. So I hope that the sales for this DVD actually were high enough that they do another one, because this ended with absolutely no resolution to anything. There has to be a part 2 for this. So I look forward to it. This was a great movie, a fun movie, a great mixture of horror and comedy. Yeah, that's about all I can say about that. If you're going to watch this movie, know that it's not a complete movie. There's definitely going to be a part 2. And if there's not a part 2, I guess we'll just have to make it up in our heads how it ends, because it definitely ends yeah, in a horrible spot. So, and it's even got alternate ending, and the alternate ending also ends up like that. So they must have known that there was going to be a part 2 for this all along. So Cooties, check it out. Really good, funny movie, scary movie. Last but not least is Roar. So this movie was originally made in 1981. It had a very high budget. Well, I'm sorry, the budget was low, but they ended up spending $17 million to get this movie made. And I believe it only made like $2 million worldwide after it was released. So, of course, this is the new release, so I guess we're going to try to make some more money off of it now. But this movie is insane. You have to check this out. It stars Tippi Hedren, which is Melanie Griffith's mother. Melanie Griffith is in this as well as a teenager. Tippi Hedren's husband at the time, Noel Marshall, he's the writer and director of this. They both had a passion when they were married to save the wild animals in Africa and things like that, and that's kind of where this whole movie came from. But Noel Marshall's 2 sons from another marriage, John and Jerry, they also star in this. And the story's horrible. It's about a guy that lives in Africa, and he's trying to save the wild cats, the lions, the tigers, the leopards, the panthers, whatever's out there, trying to save them from the poachers. And he lives in this building that is, the animals just run free. So the whole storyline is he goes to stop some poachers, and Melanie Griffith, his 2 sons, Jerry and John, and Tippi Hedren, that plays his wife in this movie as well, they come to visit him, and he's not there. So when they get there, they find out that there's no protection from these animals. The crazy thing about this movie is none of the animals were trained. These animals are running wild on the set while the actors are doing their scenes. There's scenes where the lions are actually dragging down an actor in the middle of his lines. They can't even complete the scene as it was written because they're getting mauled. You need to go in and read about this movie on Wikipedia or any other websites. Get this DVD, watch the extra features first. Kind of has a behind the scenes, and they talk about all the injuries that happened on the set. Broken legs. Melanie Griffith actually almost lost an eye. There was multiple lacerations. One guy was scalped pretty much. Just crazy things. I think there was like 70 injuries from cast and crew during the filming of this movie. You have to check this out. If nothing more, like I say, if you read about it and watch the extra features first, when you watch it, you can actually see the scenes where the injuries happen. I mean, a guy will be talking, and all of a sudden a lion will just kind of jump on him, and he'll stand back up, and he'll be bleeding. That's real blood, people. This is no special effects. It's crazy. Never seen anything like it. Definitely check this one out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Well, that's it for me. I hope you found this informative. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and definitely share, people. Share it. Anyway, we'll see you next time.